Peace, 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 peace. Oh, greetings to all, love to all, peace to all, clarity to all, awareness to all. Let the car go by. I really didn't want to do this while I was taking my little scroll. But anywho, how y'all doing out there in the world? How y'all doing out there in the ethers? How y'all doing out there? I'm acting like I'm doing a podcast. Hey, it is what it is, but okay. Man, happy Gemini season. Happy everything. Sometimes I love taking these walks because it helps me get a lot of clarity. I'm not gonna let this shit distract me from what it is at hand. Have you laughed today? Y'all gonna have to exclude them calls. I ain't tripping about that, but that's just movement. That's just movement. But have you laughed today? Have you? Shit, let me laugh for you. Oh man, so I got the phone in my pockets. I don't know if you're gonna see the light or what. Hopefully ain't nothing. Yeah, it's gonna be dark in there. You know them little blackout messages. But anywho, oh man, topic. What is the topic? Topic. First day of Gemini season. That's intellectual, mental stimulation, the wind, the air, the twins, the dark and light. It can mean many things. But all I'm saying is this. I just feel very excited for what's on the horizon. So should you. Even if you aren't, hey, this too shall pass. But let me say this, yo, it's a great time to be alive, man. Don't let nobody else tell you different. But one thing this topic, so if it feels like I'm all over, hey, breathing always brings it back to center. So I will start by saying this topic right here, the feeling of being alienated, hopefully I say that right, alienated within not only alienated within yourself, alienated within your own country, your own, before I get there, am I the only one? Like, this is something I've been doing since I was a kid. I love to walk the train tracks. Now, I haven't forgot about the alienated thing. Well, this kind of is connected to that. But walking tracks has definitely been, wherever I'm at, I have to take walks. I have to take at least more than an hour or more to myself. I would definitely share that with anyone that is on their journey, coming out of what we call codependency, or coming out of that place where, a lot of stuff is new to you. It is very vital to take a walk, go on a drive, or go somewhere where you can get mental clarity. I mean, away from the world, because this is gonna really tie into and connect to the feeling of being alienated within our own land. So first, I'm gonna speak on myself about this. You got the whole narratives of even so much of being a man. If you want the term, I don't like to get into much of like the color, melanin, all these other things, but it also plays a major part in everything right now. So this is a message not only to those that are, because I'm very much aware of what's happening, and a lot of us, whether you want to use the term holistic teachers, whether you want to use the term healers, whether you want to use the term spiritualists, those of you that have been upon this journey, a lot of us are being initiated, you know better than than others know. Like I know me, I know what my journey consists of, and I must remind y'all, man, like a lot of which I'm going to share with you is the importance of how a lot of this will help you upon your journey. Receive what resonate, let the rest fly. This is not about people agreeing, because I'm not caring if people agree, accept, none of that. I don't claim to be a part of no type of religions, none of that stuff. I am simply me. And in being me, I am at peace and I'm happy with that. So that being said, a lot of you that are on upon this journey, this shit can be very scary. It can be very scary. Scary in a sense of like, your fears will come up. Your fears of even the fact of like being alienated in your own land. These things will come up. It may seem like, oh man, I feel so out of place. I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. Is this what life is really about? I mean, everything. And I always express to people how stuff starts in the womb of your mothers. You're talking about, like, a lot of us have been carrying so much generational traumas or woundings, not to mention the alienation of when we got here, how the powers that were, or how certain things have been used to, how could I say this? Yeah, to prey on our woundings, to prey on our most vulnerable things in our life. Things that, again, we learn to love or to embrace in childhood. And that feeling of all those things being stripped, taken, or tampered with. So this goes back to even how a lot of us now are coming to the realization we never knew who the fuck we were. Now a lot of us in coming to knowing who we are, because a lot of the in denial, which I was expressing to someone, on how, if you want to use a term, narcissist, controlling, whatever it is, has caused us to be fueled off this distorted way of being rather than truly being ourselves. Because it's been dictated by others outside of us rather than us truly. Because ponder for a second, you really know to be the best version of you comes from where? I'll let you take a moment. You know how to get the wrong answer. See, if y'all don't know that, that's Jeopardy. But anywho, and see, that's the thing. It's not about wrong or right. And I also want to let you know that you have never, you that will listen to this, you are not a disappointment. You have never been a disappointment. What your disappointment is rooted in is the expectation and ideology of someone else's opinion of how you should be, where you should be, how successful you should be, how much money you should have, how much material things you should have. But does that really matter to the child or to the little person or to the spirit, the soul within you? Because none of that shit matters to the Creator. Yes, I said it. None of that, what you think, honestly matters. Because I know everyone serves a higher, whatever higher power. I'm going to speak to where I'm expressing this to. Like, I was just talking to myself. Like, everyone. But most importantly to myself. I want to tell you something I want to tell myself. But the reality, because the truth of the matter is, you've been living in fantasy. You've been living someone else's fantasy. So now you see a world. Now, what I've been trying to get people to understand and overstand and comprehend is that you got people who better to be themselves. Who know, if you really took who knows better to be themselves right now? If you took a 5-year-old, I don't like to say old, but if you took someone that's 5 years of age, 13, 25, and 50, even 70. Now, all of those. Now, one thing. None of them will have the same perception on life. None of them will have the same opinion on life. None of their lives will be the same. First, the 5-year-old is dependent somehow on the actions, or, there's a caretaker involved, being that it has to learn, certain things through someone else. Now, depending on the upbringing of that guardian parent, that can either be forced upon them or they can allow that child to learn. Now, which one did you have growing up? Now you're talking about the 13-year-old. And most people don't realize, when I was learning from an elder, I heard an elder say that the first 7 years, which, you can research this is documented, or you can research this on your own, but I do, and I honestly believe this, and know this to be true. The first 7 years of your life, depending on your upbringing, who your upbringing was with, the first 7 years of your life, that's beautiful. The first 7 years of your life is very vital. That being said, it's because in that first 7 years, the mother, which is the matriarchal, mother being the first teacher, the first 7 years are so vital. And that being said, because we learn how to be feminine through our mothers, we learn what it is to be nurtured. And this is most important. Let me bring that to myself. Men learn what it is to be loved, to nurture, all those things of feminine principles and masculine principles, because we have both energies. But depending on if that mother was coming from a distorted, meaning unhealed version of herself, that man, that child that would grow into, into his manhood, or however you will perceive it, he will learn those attributes and reenact them through all of the women that he will meet. No, this isn't something creepy about, oh, what do you mean his mother? No, it's the image, because all men and women hold an image of a man in their mind, in their mind's eye, in their spiritual eye. What are you saying? I'm saying this. Is that go back to your childhood woundings. It goes back to the different ages that I stated. 13, 25, 50. It doesn't matter. The 50 being the age of 50, they still, depending if it's a man and or a woman, whatever they learn, process, develop in childhood will still be reenacted through their experience. This is what I come to learn, even seeing people who have, and this is not everyone, who have, certain possessions or certain things materialistically. Once you start to really get to know yourself internally and start to know you better than anyone else, sometimes you can be very aware of others' woundings. And in that learning and having that awareness, it also teaches you about your own healing and woundings. Because, see, the thing is that people that haven't done the inner work, or what we call shadow work, or facing their fears, which you really see a lot of people reenact their fears, and they're driven to have this sense of power and control is rooted in what their childhood fears are or their childhood woundings. And a lot of which I learned with myself. A lot of things I didn't get overnight. I was just able to see as I became more in tune, being that feminine principle that I learned through my mother, what I assumed what love was, what I assumed what nurturing was. And you know, there's always that, what's that word, inkling, or that nudge, you know, you feeling like, no, that's not right, or that doesn't resonate. And you're fighting these constant battles, these internal battles, thinking that, oh, I need this partner externally. Oh, I need this person to make me better, to make me feel fulfilled, to make me feel like someone again. And it really never happens that way. So what we've been told, because this world has given you this illusion, this false narrative of how we all have been affected by it systematically. We all have been affected by it. Everyone. It's around the world. This is globally. Because this is getting even back into the fact of, again, these different ages, whether it be woman or man, they're not separate from each other. I'm getting to the spiritual aspect of how all of this is connected. If you sit down with someone, no matter their culture, creed, or color, somebody got a drunk in their family, somebody got a crackhead, somebody got something that you can relate to. There's something that will connect you, is what I'm saying. So some way, somehow, there's something on some type of level, human level, whatever you want to say, that will connect you to someone or something that reminds you of what you should have, could have, or have experienced. Give you a little example right here. Family Matters. Those that don't know what Family Matters are, you know, it's a show about Steve Urkel. Then you have, what was the other show? Moving on up. The Jeffersons. Is that the Jeffersons? Is it the Jeffersons? Y'all know, but you know I'm getting at. It's the depiction. And this is psychological warfare I'm finna get at. It's the depiction. As much as people don't want to accept the reality of it, it's the depiction of what happiness looks like and how happiness is portrayed. And as much as you say you're not affected by it, I don't care what color you are, creed, or whatever. Everyone, even if they portrayed, you know, it goes back to, you know, growing up, how they portrayed, if you want to say African or people of darker melanin descent or whatever, that, you know, hungry family, like these kids on TV, to play on your emotions, to send money. How do you even know where that money's going? To even portray to the world that all of these people come from what? A boat? Or to portray this image to the world that what? We're always angry? As if we don't have a right to feel or to honor our emotions. See, the psychological warfare isn't in just, make sure I'm still recording here. The psychological warfare isn't in just simply what we see, because that's food too. It's what we're listening to, everything. So naturally, some people, you fear people, don't even know the fuck why. You fear of people, at the same time you need them to progress. Oh, I'm delivering it today. So the beauty of all of this, going back to, we feeling alienated in the land that we created. And I don't mean we to subject any other party and, you know, divide any people. No, we created as a people. We created this fucking monster that you see here. You all are acting like monsters. Not all monsters are bad. Some say not all angels are good. Some even say not all demons are bad. But the whole narrative of this is that the lack of accountability And more so, refusing. You see a nation, you see a people refusing to acknowledge their own shortcomings or their role in what they've created. And this is why you pay close attention to people and their awareness and how they even have been in a state of delusion, confusion. It's like people don't even want to acknowledge your role and how you came to be and how your life came to be and how you did certain things but refused to acknowledge your part. This is how I began to make peace with who I was. You know what? It wasn't even your fault. I laugh. I'm like, it wasn't even your fault. Some may call me crazy. What do you mean? You know, this happened 400 years, 1,000 years. This happened, yada, yada. So what? I am solution-based. Rid yourself of people that aren't about solutions. See, sometimes I even become very aware. Why do I feel alienated? Why do I feel, can I blame people for not even want to be a part of this land anymore? Or even be a part of anything? Why should I blame them? Why should I be mad at them? Because that's their birthright. They want to feel a sense of being free. A sense of being free. They don't even know that they're free. Some assume that they're free. And now they're seeing the worst that, they could ever imagine. Their fears are becoming their reality now. And yet still, the in denial there. How we all have fed the beast. Whatever you want that beast to be in your life. We all have fed the beast. If you have a system that has been created of people that are mentally unstable, how do you not see the mental illness and the illusion of control? Nature reminds you every day that there is no control. You feed a beast every day, no matter what the beast is. Some of you feed something that you know that you need to starve. Whether it be a relationship, whether it be an addiction, whether it be something as simple as just being silent and not arguing. It can be anything. That's the balance in life. So how could I be mad? How could you be mad if I don't want to be here anymore? If I don't want to be in somewhere, if I want to live in another country, in another city, anywhere. If I know that a system or a place have drained me emotionally, not me, whoever's a part of me connected to me, they've drained them emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. Why would I continue to support something I know that is falling and being destroyed right before my eyes? Because guess what? I didn't destroy it. It destroyed itself. It destroyed itself. And you're mad? Why are you mad? Why are a lot of you mad? Because I don't want to take on your emotions? And that's the world today. We're mad and angry because we feel someone, somewhere. Look at you. You want someone to take, to honestly, because you grown up in this, we all been affected by it. People, I'm just trying to bring awareness to it. We all grew up, it affected all of us. If you want to use the term narcissist, a narcissistic society. You do this or else. No, I said do this. If you don't do this, then this is this and this is this. And y'all all know the narcissistic behavior if you are aware of it. And guess what I told someone? How would I know if I wasn't it? That's the accountability. Accountability, and what do they tell you in the AAA meetings? You know, if you an addict to something, you have to first acknowledge that you were the addict. That's the first rule. So some people you are not going to save. It's not your job to save them. Some people are looking for governmental structures or certain things to save them from their own demise. First of all, I don't know how much money you need to save you from your own emotional trauma or your own emotions or your own whatever it is. What can possibly, you don't see the people out here right now that honestly, it don't matter how much money they've had. I've been around people, these are, not all of them, these are some of the most insecure, ugliest, unrighteous people inside. Inside. But the world had you to believe, or, what's been perceived to you is that, shit, anybody can have a lot of money and give you something, but their intentions be impure, or their intentions just be so, like, what? They could care less about you. It's integrity. It's integrity. I cannot expect. It's the expectations. I'm not here to take on your emotions. See, once you get to that place, and this is the thing about feeling alienated. I don't blame no one. I can give honestly, the powers that were, and all this stuff that's been going on, hey, kudos. If I could clap right now, I got something in my hand, but I clap my chest like, yo, y'all did fucking great. That's just like any type of relationship. See, some people really got a relationship with things that they just assume that it will never end. Did you hear what I said? Some people have relations, emotional attachments to things that is leading to their own demise. It's like the sheep, these sheep's being led to the slaughter. Because what? You're pissed, you're mad because a person can think for themselves? And you call that rebellion? How dare you? You're pissed because this person doesn't need you? But that doesn't mean that they don't value you. You're upset because I value me, and not in the perception of what you feel a man, a person, a being, or whomever should be, and you're mad because I choose to reclaim the innocence of my childhood. And what? You're choosing to what? Allow someone to dictate your life? Because they don't know how to run their own life? Isn't that what a narcissist do? Like they fuel off knowing that they're gonna win by any means necessary. See, I've already won because I already have peace. See, the thing I'm getting at about this is, when y'all gonna? I'm not even expecting y'all to wake up. This is for maybe one viewer who will get it. I don't care if it was 1 million. This is for the one that knows you are not a disappointment. Did you hear me? You have not disappointed yourself. You have not disappointed me. The only thing that you feel disappointed at is because your expectations of others are higher than your fucking self. See, you won't ever be disappointed when you know that you are the shit. When you know that you are a divine creation. When you know that you are a beautiful woman, man, child, whomever. When you know that it's you that's been sitting here on a mission, that can walk this mission fearlessly. It's you that choose not no longer to walk in the shadow of your parents or your friends or your family. It's you, because the sun is going to shine every day. With or without you, with or without them. So who are you really waiting for? No one has ever been in your way. Who created those blockages? Did you allow those people? I used to say this analogy all the time. I was like, did they really stab me in my back? Did they really betray me? Or did they betray themselves? Or did I give them the knife to stab me? Did I turn around so you can stab me? And some people are like, what? Yo, I never think of it. Then you're mad because I pulled the knife out of my back and I saw what? I didn't have to see when you did it, but I saw that this didn't come from me. So then you're expecting me, listen now, you're expecting me to get the knife that you stabbed me in the back with and wait till you turn around so I can stab you? No, it doesn't work like that. Because once I choose myself, guess what? I won't ever stop choosing me. And in choosing me, I don't have to stab you in the back. I just simply either give you the knife back, lay the knife down, and or walk away. And this is for entertainment. This is not about stabbing anyone. No one is hurt. What they say? No one is hurt in the making of this video. Because I do not promote violence in any way. It's just an analogy, people. So, hey, for all you sensitive folks, go sit in the corner, sit with your emotions, all right? But again, this is empowering those that go through mental illness. I myself, I will not for once deny that shit. This is why a lot of you right now are at a crossroads deciding. Some of us are at a place where we're deciding whether we want to go with ourselves. Because you are not fucking, it ain't even about wrong. You are not like a part of the alienated feeling or the feeling of emptiness is because most of our lives, man, I feel this. I want y'all to feel me here. Most of all of our lives, wherever you are, especially a lot of us between the age of like 20 something to like 40, 50s and so forth. But whoever this resonates for, most of your life, and especially to our women and men, because both matriarchal had a part of this as well as the patriarchal. So it's not about this being against women and men. We all played a part in this distortion of what the mother and father looks like. Because in order to even acknowledge the divine mother and father, that's something you must realize what the opposite of what it was. The imbalances. How do I know where emotional manipulation came from? I had to learn through a woman who was emotionally imbalanced, who didn't really know who she was, who used her emotions, whether she cried or did certain things to manipulate men. That's no difference in a woman, how can I say this? This is going to be good. A manizer. Oh yeah, I said it. Because I knew myself at a point in time to be a womanizer because guess what? I had to learn through a woman who manized men, who played on their emotions. Yeah, because I'm going to call it both sides. Because I'm tired of this, against, no. We as men, we learn from our women. Well, I don't care, it ain't even about the same sex. Because guess what? In that connection, someone still learned something. In the process of loving someone, you still learn something, childhood. Because I'm fucking tired of the shit with, men did all this. Now, if you coming over here, I'm holding our women accountable. Because I need you to know that you're free within. I need you to acknowledge your own woundings. I need you to acknowledge your own shortcomings. This is not to blame you or point out to you or pick at your woundings. This is so you can know who you are, who you always been, and what you are becoming. And that's whether a caterpillar into a butterfly, but you have always been great. The little girl in you have always been great. Greatness, divine, beautiful, amazing. So I get it sometimes when we come into connections. Sometimes, you know what? I get it. Some people want you to We don't even realize we're carrying shame and guilt from our own mothers and fathers. And then not only where that comes from, their mothers and fathers, due to disappointment because they didn't live up to their mother's expectations. So they worked all of their lives. So they did certain things where that was unfulfilling. Yes, I said it. So now what? You mad? Because a lot of us had children or created something from an unfulfilled place. Yep, I called it out for what it is. I can acknowledge it. But I won't ever tell a child that you are not fulfilled because you've always been fulfilled. You've always been whole. This is what we hear. This is what we're teaching as holistic people now. We've always been people who have been whole in their own birthright. Not what marriage has been teaching us. Not these false narratives of being half. How the fuck is y'all half? Do your milk come? I don't drink milk, but by the way, but do your juice or a gallon comes half? No, it doesn't. We're learning how we were apart and learned through the process of people who came before us. And this is through karma because everyone's learned because karma is a lesson. Let's exclude the fact of, oh, this is negative, this is bad. No. What I'm getting at is the fact of how, come to me. How we've learned these things and how we reenacted them through our own experiences. Most of all of what we're doing, we're only projecting from our experience, people. Does it really mean this person is wrong or right? No, it's the accountability in it. So again, that's the thing about, it ain't even about division. If I can get you divided, shit, 1 + 1 still equals 3 in my world. And I'm meaning by that, by woman and man, like you get them together, they're gonna create another person, that's 3 of y'all. Tree of y'all. So, and I express this because it's sisters I meet and I be like, yo, I haven't always been in this energy or in this place. I also had to go through my own lessons in karma. So a lot of which those who are guardians, I don't like the term parents, but who are aware of what you're here to do, you're clearing things, acknowledging things so your path can be on a dharmic path to where those that come after you, I wouldn't ever want my princess or kids that I have to carry my burdens. That's not their responsibility. See, that's the fucked up way we've all been living. It's like, it's not my responsibility to carry my mother's burdens. It was my responsibility to acknowledge, to no longer carry her burdens, that I had my own karma to clear, that I had my own path and journey to live, with or without mother, father, or anyone else. That's why I say a lot of us are at a crossroads trying to decide. And simply because a lot of us that have did the inner work, this is not an attack on anyone that hasn't. Because just because someone else is at another level, when you level up or go somewhere, that doesn't mean everyone comes with you. Some people have to walk through doors with or without family, people, friends, tribe, clan, whatever. Because you have the strength. You've been called to do that. You've had that courage. And it's not about looking back because there's nothing to look back to. You can reflect, but there's no going back. You can't unsee what you saw. People will leave and return as if they never left. Oh, let me say that again. People will leave and return as if they never left. As if nothing ever happened. Now, for me to expect you to be the same, that would be crazy. That's insane. For you to expect me to be the same, that's not my fault. And so that's another thing. When someone has left or when someone is leaving, no one is ever the same. And so that's the thing about how, if this person comes in this energy about what has happened in the past or what this person feels has happened, I'm no longer there because it's an internal thing that I had to do. I've already set with that. I've already, sometimes people, departure is closure. Or sometimes people, the words that are not said are closure for people. Did you hear me? Okay, good. Or sometimes the silence is closure. Sometimes it's different for everyone. So let me make this very clear for a lot of people. Is that you are not your mother's burdens. You are not your father's burdens. That is not your karma or your cross to bear. It is not your kids' responsibility for you to project your fucking fears or whatever it is you're going through onto them. Because eventually what it will cause, and this is something I've learned, is that I knew I was supposed to do something differently. Whether it was accepting to my mother, father, or anyone else's eyes. When you have a higher calling, this is for a lot of people. People will not, it is not your job to convince them of what it is you're here to do. Because once you come to that awareness, you'll realize that you will be divinely guided and protected. There will be others on your path that will meet you or join you. But you will always be with you on your journey. This is something we need to express to kids. You're never gonna leave you. Did you hear what I said? People will always leave you, but you are never going to leave you. See, the world and codependency can be different, but a lot of us are coming to, once you're interconnected and learn about being connected with yourself and being with yourself, a lot of people don't even know what their own heartbeat sounds like. Because they're going. They're simply going. And this goes back to how, and this is the fucking truth of the matter, man. I'm not here to say stuff y'all like. It's about activating. If it triggers you, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Because I'm at a place where, and a lot of us are at this place, I am not here to take on no one karma. If Spirit say, me and you, this person didn't agree to this, and this chapter is closed, I do not have the capacity within myself to be carrying your shit, her shit, his shit, anybody's shit. Because I had to grow from my own shit, okay? Within my own self, I had to learn that. I had to learn to become interdependent, to walk in independence. A lot of what I went through was only to inspire me upon my path. And now I'm realizing that people are simply on your path. This is one thing I've learned. They're going to inspire you in some way. Whether they trigger you, that's inspiring you to heal a wound. Whether they remind you, what are you here to do? Whether they come along to help. Everyone is playing their role in a lot of this. That's the beauty of this. But everyone, you have to realize this too, people. That everyone doesn't see the world like you see it. Even kids. Shit. Look how short they are. Look at babies. They see the world can you imagine? They probably see the world like, look at these giant people. Look at this lady with this big ass head. Look at this man. You know what I'm saying? Who is this lady talking to me like this? Who is this man with his stinking breath? Woo, did she brush her teeth? It could be many things. But, I just want y'all to laugh doing this because it's not about being serious, because most of our life, we've been so serious about things. Y'all have been so serious. Oh my gosh, lighten up. If anything about this Gemini season to teach you is that they are very friendly, sociable, and childlike. Lighten up. Some of y'all need to lighten up. I reflect on some people I met in my life. I'm like, yo, you're so serious about having all these possessive, this material stuff. You're so, okay, so what? What are you trying to prove? And so that showed me is that you've obtained all these things and you're still unfulfilled. You're still insecure. You're still carrying a jealous spirit. You're still envious in a way. You don't even care to share. Because something in you doesn't even want to help others. So I rid myself of those people. I've let people leave because I am the tree. I have to water my own tree. I have to be mindful of those who come into my life that come to water me, that come to wait on the fruit that I am bearing, and to try to come to snatch from the harvest that I've created, you know, that I had to maintain, that I too had to learn. Did I do it alone? No, I'm not saying that. But it's important to learn who is who. And again, we're all learning through this, unlearning and relearning. We're all learning to love again, especially from an innocent place, because it gets deeper than that. Some of us, ooh, this is going to get deep. I got to say it because I'm channeling. Some people have been married 20, 30, 40 years, coming from an empty place, coming from a half place. Yeah, you heard it. From a 50-50. How? How can you give someone 50 of anything when you haven't even given yourself 100? You haven't even poured into yourself. You know, people haven't, in their life, haven't really, you don't even see yourself as whole. So how you gonna give someone 50? I see, this is the reality of it, what has happened in our society, in the nation, in the world, is that our women, a nation can go no higher than this woman. If the world and these people have portrayed our women to simply do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. You know, you're not valuable if you don't do this. You're not valuable if you don't give your, open your legs to a man. You're not valuable if you don't have a child. You're not valuable if you don't have a wedding ring. You're not valuable if you don't, look like this, get surgery, do all these things. And I'm saying that too from a place of, for teaching these younger women and these princesses about what it is to be accepted in this world, or what it is to be valuable. None of that is valuable. And I'm not here to argue with people like that. I ain't gonna argue with you, period, because that's not even, how is that making them more valuable? You don't even love yourself enough or believe in yourself enough that you are a creation, that whatever was given to you was obviously for you to see it as a sense of empowerment, endearment, not something that, again, not everyone learn their own way, because you have a world. See, everyone's been affected by this, to where you have people that want to treat you as such. So it's not everyone's fault that has been led to do these things. The thing is, when you see the problem in the root, why do our women go do this? Then if there's no accountability in why they do it, the loop continues. It's not a cycle, because ain't shit complete. The loop continues to teaching these, these little girls not to value who they are within. And men. Because once the little girl know it, the woman got to bring the child here through the womb. So again, we talking about generations of women who have been pouring, hear what I say. You've learned from mothers or women, and it's not blaming no one. It's for accountability right now. This is where the healing starts. Is that we've been looking over our wounds so much. We've been in connections and relationships so much that, let me tell you this. This goes for anybody. And this is most important to myself. You're not coming over here to bleed on me. Yeah, I said it. That means that we've been bleeding on everyone else. And then you got some people like, hey, you don't see that wound right there? And this is what we point out. Certain people are like, you don't see that? It's something really going on with you right there. You don't see that? How can you ever heal if you don't acknowledge your own wounding? You don't even see that you're bleeding on me. And then the expectation for me to even heal your wound and mine is insanity. You don't want me to heal my wound? This is the mental illness that's been going on, people. Using our kids, using certain things as a crutch. Using our mothers and fathers as a crutch. Victimization can only lead to self-destruction. That self-destruction can possibly, if you're open and willing to, can lead to victory. Victory in speaking your truth, honoring and accepting what has happened. This is different for everyone. Grieving is different for everyone. Acceptance is different for everyone. Forgiveness is different for everyone. But to expect, these days are over with bleeding on people. We need you to see your wounds, mothers, fathers, people. See your own internal wounding. I'm not talking about external wounding here. Yes. Yeah, you can see a scar, but you have internal scars that you have not dealt with. You have internal conflicts. You have internal wounding that you are in denial about, that you hide to the world, that can no longer be hidden. Because you got certain people such as myself that can sense and feel empathetic, that can see that shit from a mile away. We can see you coming from a mile away. No longer are you using your body as a crutch to be fulfilled. Men and women, like, what? Come on. I'm not expecting this from anybody. I know myself to be this. I'm not here to convince you that I'm doing this. The world is changing. You don't got to change with it. What doesn't want to evolve will wither away and die. So again, the reality is we all in the past have poured. We've been pouring. Our mothers have been pouring from a fucking empty cup. Yes, mothers, it is time for you to call your power back. You need you. Yes, I said it. Just like I need me, we need you to need you in these moments. I know for some, you don't know how. But let this video be a reminder. If he or she ain't coming to help with your healing, leave they ass where they at. We need you to heal. We need you to acknowledge. We need you to cry. We need you to step up and speak your truth and say what no longer you are dealing with. What no longer you are accepting. Because guess what? You've been accepting the bare minimum, and a lot of which ain't even valuable. It ain't even about the money and material. It never been about the money and material or certain things to you. A woman that really knows and values herself. Make sure it's still recording. Okay, we still good. A woman that truly knows and values herself and man. So you remember those days where women like, I know myself. He got to come with this. He got to come with that. Man, a man that knows himself, especially that's in tune, we don't give a fuck about what we can bring you. It ain't even about what we can bring you. What can we reciprocate? Do you need you? Can you be your own peace? Do you know that you are free in your own body? Do you know that you are free in your own self? So how can I even expect you to give me or offer me anything if you don't know yourself to be these things first? Yes, I said it. It's easy to see, just like y'all see. What Pac say? Since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, and our game from our women. I know myself very well too. If a lot of things I've learned, I may have knowledge of things, but the wisdom came through a woman. And we know the wisdom to be the waters of a woman. The waters which we all came from. Inside your mother's womb. So a lot of y'all tell it ain't about blaming you. I know you feel alienated in your own land. How could I blame you when the world has tried to do everything to devalue you, to make you feel like you're not worthy of even being a woman, of even see yourself that represents the divine feminine and masculine principles, to even see yourself as being whole. A lot of our women don't even see themselves as being nothing but what? Good enough just for sex, good enough just for money, good enough for just something externally. Rather than even knowing what their value is. Their value is limitless. To the Creator, what? Can you take any of that stuff with you, sister, mother, woman? Without all these titles, without your career, without your status, without any of this, do you know your value? Where your value lies? Because we all have been affected by this. You've been pouring from an empty cup, let alone that fucking cup has been dry. Letting men into your womb, let men come into your life that don't even pour into you, that don't even nourish you mentally, spiritually, and physically, that simply come to take from you because all their mother knew was to take from their father, and all they ever did to their sons is take from them as well. Never to replenish. Same thing go with men too. It works both ways, ladies, so we're not exempt. Just get you someone that will hold not only themselves accountable, but you accountable. That's called responsibility. Those days are over. I'm not here to, what? A lot of us men that are now here, we're not here to take care. Like, make it make sense. So you honestly believe a man? Can you imagine? This is a thing that has been excluded. Now you're seeing that your mental health matters. Now, if your mental health doesn't matter, what makes you think that ours does as men, as little boys? If our mothers don't care about their well-being, how do you expect us to care? And then when we do start caring, and when we do start, being there for ourselves and no longer looking for, it's not all women, but certain women that really don't value themselves, like we know that they can do nothing. But in everything, they still are valuable. They just don't see their value. But the women that do see their value, that's what you're going to see now. It's going to be more of alignment and awareness of that. Not someone that's going to come along. Okay, we know you're hurting, but that doesn't mean we're here to, baby girl, a lot of us don't have that capacity to take on what you went through with Ray and Tom and Robert, or whatever or whatever you refuse to acknowledge within your fatherly wounds and or motherly wounds. Go for both sides. A lot of people don't have that capacity. We got our own fucking baggage to carry, our own luggage that we're trying to unpack and realize like, oh man, I've been running from myself. Oh man, I learned this from my mother. Oh man, I realized, oh man, like what? We're all experiencing something. So to think you just gonna come over here and think like y'all got it in your mind that it's a man's responsibility to take care of your whole ass, like your whole being, and then just neglect our own mental health, just neglect who we are, neglect every aspect of myself. No, it will not happen over here. You might as well go find that somewhere. It will not happen over here. Just as well y'all can stand up, we are also standing up in our own power. I'm not even, you think, man, man, what? See, that's the thing, the powers that word didn't want. But this is what we need. I'm not finna give you what you think you want in a man or someone. I know what you need. Meaning that I know you need this uncomfortable conversation. I know you need this uncomfortable truth. I know you need to feel, what it is that you've been running from. To sit your ass down and talk to you about, why is your behavior this way? What you angry about? Why are you mad at the world? What really happened with you? Were you abused physically, mentally? How can we sit down and talk about what it is we actually have experienced? Okay, so how can we find a solution? Is it going to happen overnight? No. Because this is the shit that we can no longer run from. This microwave society. No. Y'all created this monster. You created your own monster. Now you don't want to sit down with it and sit that monster in front of his face and be like, oh, I created you. Yeah. Yeah, you created that. Same thing with your kids. You created that. You helped create that. And you blame man. Let's go for men and women. And you blame that man and woman just because what? And it's not with everyone. This is for the ones you know. And you blame them for how you feel or what you assume they should feel. Because you have curiously, you know, you have some vendetta or envy or whatever it is against this man because you came together and co-created with this person knowingly. Because I do know, sending my love to those who, you know, that was forced upon. May you do find the clarity and strength to actually get through that and align with a partner or person that could, you know, help aid you through that. Because it's different for everyone. But for those who use and try, and all that shit falling apart now, for people who try to use a child or a whole nother being or person as a crutch, as a pond, as something they feel that will make them feel better just because they keep this child or something at, you know, for the sake of their own enjoyment or their own pleasure. Now I realize you're only hurting and harming yourself because you refuse to acknowledge what, you know, is internalized. You refuse to acknowledge what's going on within you. I'm gonna let this motorcycle pass. Got some good music. Try to cover the sound. Boy, that be signs, boy, that came in loud and clear, boy. But the message is gonna be delivered. So even just with that, these things cannot be ignored no more. Because it's been ongoing. This has been ongoing. And like I said, our mothers and fathers have been affected by this. We all have been affected in a way. Because our mothers haven't had the resources. They haven't had the certain things to actually, you know, again, they've been pouring from a dry cup, an empty cup. And they convince themselves, a lot of us convince ourselves, oh yeah, I have everything you need. And we haven't even given it to ourselves. How could I give you anything I haven't given myself? So a lot of things I had to accept and come to the self-realization. How could I give you something I haven't given myself? How could I give you the love I haven't given myself? How could I give you the home? How could I give you anything that I haven't first accepted and feel worthy of within myself? How? We don't sit and ponder on this shit, man. How? Am I still recording? Y'all don't realize I got it in my pocket, yeah. Am I still? Yeah, an hour. Ooh, that's good. So, and the thing is that you can never change someone. That's one thing I had to accept. So you always, in a world like this, once you start choosing you, once you realize that you are the hero in your own story, you will then become a villain to a lot of people. And that's simply because they don't see that they're the hero in their own story. No one can save them but themselves. What do you mean? I ain't finna get religious. I ain't finna get none of that on none of y'all because I do not care. Those that are in alignment and are aware will come and will be led to the video. Now the haters, oh, they appreciate it, but guess what? I still sending love to you. It's all good. But again, a lot of people in choosing yourself, you no longer resonate with people because you're gonna realize that, oh, this person just calling me to emotionally dump. I don't have the capacity to, oh, this person just calling just to see where I'm at. Oh, this person just, and we don't even realize like how unfulfilled people have been. Some will never see it. Some are simply just an inspiration. And some simply just want to feed, just want to, like a vampire, they just want to, you know, feel like they can come in and just say and do anything. No, them days is over with. When they can't feel like they can do it to you, oh, pay attention. Pay attention to the action. Pay attention to the verbs, the words. And then even in that, you still have compassion and love for yourself. You just realize they're going through their own internal conflict, their own spiritual warfare, and that gives you the path of clear to give you that way to simply free yourself. See, that's the beauty of it. You actually freeing yourself. They may not see it as freeing themselves because they don't see it. They're not aware. But you can see it as freeing yourself. It's just like, why would a butterfly have a conversation with a caterpillar? Certain things, like maybe I don't want to be with the homeboys and drink, to oblivion. Maybe I don't want to do certain things no more. I'm not judging you for what you're doing, but that shit just don't, I'm not going to pretend. The days of pretending, it's going to be very apparent when you see people pretending. A follower has at a point, know itself, to become a leader, you have to be once a follower. So it's just called growth. But a lot of things that are happening, it's happening for the greater good of all. It's happening for the beauty of how things are just simply evolving. Why wouldn't you want to change? Ask yourself that. Why wouldn't this person want to see you change? Because sometimes they don't even see the change within themselves. Sometimes people don't even see past their circumstances. There was one beautiful soul, and I greatly appreciate her for this. Much love to you. She probably will listen, but anywho. And I was just honored because a lot of stuff I self-reflected on that I didn't want to acknowledge or was in denial about it. But she shared this with me one day. And she said, you have to learn to see people with new eyes. And I was like, what? What you mean? What you mean, new eyes? I've been having these eyes since. But that analogy, that terminology is when you get up. Like, do some of you go to bed angry? Like, think about the resentment and guilt and shame that you're carrying that don't even belong to you. You're carrying burdens for shit. You got people mad. You can't, I'm telling you now, if y'all could see me while I stop and see my face, you are not finna come back into my life and think that I am supposed to feel something 2, 3 years ago, 5, 10 years ago, 30 years ago, that you want me to feel and think I should be like, oh, yeah, you know what? I was, no, I'm not there. And no one can make me be there. You got folks holding on to stuff what somebody done did to them. And I'm not saying like, I look at it different. Like, is that hindering you? Is that stopping you from moving on to another relationship? Moving on in your life? Being happy? You actually has given this person dominion and power over your life? For them to come back and say, oh, you know what? You did this. You did that. Not knowing on the other side, because you're not in that person's shoes, we want so much people to experience what they call karma. Oh, this need to happen. I want this. You know what? I was in that space where I was like, man, I wanted this going to happen to. You know what? I honestly got to that place where I don't even give a fuck. I don't care. Because guess what? The thing is that whatever this person does or do, it's not dependent on what I'm doing currently in the present moment. Because my happiness isn't dependent on whether that person is in my life, whatever he or she is doing. So I had to get out of that dynamic, dysfunctional, distorted way of living, being with people, family, friends. It don't matter what it was. Let this truck go by. Like, get out of that mindset. What's that saying? Be ye renewed, like renew your mind. I don't know the verse, but like that, but renewing my mind. Why do I need to let someone live rent-free in my mind? I was there. That's other people waiting on me. That's other people like, man, you know what? That's other people that live in the mindset like, man, you ain't finna, what? So don't think you finna come to me and talk about, oh man, you remember such and such? Man, I ain't even want to hear the gospel, man. There's a difference between sitting down, talking to someone, bringing awareness to something, than simply like praying on their downfall or wishing this happened or wanting them to see what you see. Shit, this person may see green, this other person may see teal. Different color. But the whole analogy to where, this beautiful person was saying like, you got to see people with new eyes. I'm like, okay. So it's the saying of like, when you get up every day, when you get up from a nap, can you see yourself with new eyes? Can you see you being a new person? Can you see the newness in your own growth? Can you also see that person, even through their own conflict, even through their own internal battle, can you still see them anew, like in a new way? That's like having compassion. Like, a lot of us been living on passion our whole life. Passionate about sports, passionate about art, passionate about these things, passion, just more focused on if somebody sees us. But this whole time, compassion is something that's internal. To have compassion for someone that really doesn't see the greatness within themselves, but I know I see the greatness in myself, I hold a space of compassion for them because I'm like, you know what? Even though they don't see what I see, I still see me, which allows me to see them. So that's the beauty of like, can I see myself anew? Hey there, buddy. Can I see myself in a new way? No matter how the world views me, can I see myself new? Because as a tree and as a flower, I'm not concerned about if someone sees me new because I'm still growing. You're still growing. We're all still growing. So I'm very mindful of the people and very protective of that now, my energy and certain things, because this shit is like my currency. This is my everything. I'm protecting my peace by all costs. I don't care who it is. And so should you. Be mindful of the people that just want to pop back up as if it's not even the fact that nothing going on, you just let them dig the ditch for themselves. But even if they show up, it's like, okay, you be very aware. But a lot of us are now setting healthy boundaries because our mothers and fathers or people didn't know what boundaries were. So once you start setting those healthy boundaries and no longer let people walk over you or speak to you in unhealthy ways or treat you in ways that you don't want to be treated, because the saying goes like, treat others like you want to be treated. Don't treat people how you don't want to be treated. Heavens. So if I don't treat you this way, you're not going to treat me that way. You can be pissed, pour more, you can be, so what? Go sit in the corner. Go sit with yourself. And then when you decide to come over here and we can talk to each other in a kind way, in a loving way, just like kids would do, then we can move forward. But a lot of people are just going to show you now where either you're going to make a decision on moving forward with yourself or simply moving forward with those who honor your value system, who honor who you really are, or honor and respect, the fact of, hey, you know what? I can respect that. Oh, I can respect where you're coming from too. Oh, hey, I can honor that. Okay. Because everything you're not going to agree on, that still shouldn't stop you from, loving on each other, or loving yourself, all that stuff. So that's the beauty, like, again, is so you don't forget about who you are. And a lot of us have gotten to this place so we never forget about who we are and never not knowing that feeling again. It's being aware of that because, see, when you look at the world today, look at how the world has portrayed itself or certain things they want you to be. And it's like, if you're not this, if you don't have this status, if you don't have all these things or these acclimates or whatever you want to call it, then what? Okay, you obtain that, so what's your reason behind it? Is it to make others feel like they're not good enough, or they haven't been good enough, or they're not important, or they're not valuable? Because the world is not, your value system isn't the same as everyone else, but can people respect that? Can they honor that? You know, can the love be reciprocated? And it's the beauty and all that. Hey, how you doing?
Doing fine, and
I'm
you?
great.
See you walking today?
I've been, but and see, and that's the beauty in it. When we really go to the core value of a lot of stuff, some people just want to be acknowledged. We just want to feel seen. But do you see yourself inside? Do you see the inside that's crying out? And that's why I see in a lot of people's behavior, it's like their behavior outwardly is an expression of their own internal battle. Like they people aren't afraid of you, they're afraid of themselves. People aren't jealous of your happiness. They simply are jealous of the fact some things is just like they didn't get to this place, so neither should you. Or they didn't receive this, so neither should you. You know, it's so many things to look at it. But only you should know what you're worthy of and what you're willing to accept, what you're willing to, embrace, or how you want to be embraced. A lot of us are learning love again, man. Because what we learned before was a blueprint. Y'all interrupting my message now. Roo, I love you too. But a lot of what we learned was a blueprint of pain. That's the reality of it. So now we're unlearning that at certain ages, and now, reteaching it, learning it through other people, learning what not to accept, what to accept in ourselves. Like, all of that is a challenge in itself, people. So if anything I learned is to be patient with me right now. Be patient with others. Even most importantly, it's like be patient with those like our mothers and fathers who didn't know love. Like, it's like, that doesn't mean like I have to be in their presence all the time, but a lot of growth has to happen without people. A lot of us are like a tree that was around other trees that were getting affected, in some type of way, to where we had to be uprooted and be put somewhere anew, be in a new land, a new place, where we are appreciated, not tolerated. Because a lot of us have been in places where we have been tolerated and we haven't even realized it. We've been tolerated. Like, we shouldn't have to feel that way. Until you appreciate yourself, how would you know to be in the presence, or even feel that appreciation from others? So it's good to sometimes be in a new place, be in a new environment, experience new things so you can really get to know yourself. So a lot of which, again, I'm coming up on music, so don't let it bother, just vibing. But again, it's a lot of us never knew love without externally trying to seek that, validation or acceptance from others. So now that we are now being at age 20, 30, 40, learning to, hey, how y'all doing? Learning to love ourselves again. So how y'all doing? It's gonna look unfamiliar to people who don't know that process, because it's very unknown to them. So they're not supposed to get it. Because a lot of us are here to remove ourselves from those environments and to create a new blueprint for the youth. And so a lot of which, again, you coming from environments that didn't know love, they didn't know what the value of love was, because they only knew that to be from an external thing, from an external source. This is how, like, a lot of religions and cultures, a lot of stuff have been, used. Because again, if I can get you to believe so much that something outside of you exists, where you don't know the importance of who you are and what you're here to do, then you honestly, you know, who's really to blame? And so that's the thing. We all have been hurt or blamed or known what it is to point the finger. But when are we going to acknowledge? When are we going to acknowledge, like, our role and our part in it? And when does it stop? A lot of us know that it stops with us. So that's a part of knowing where we're supposed to walk away. And this is going to be a lot of challenge for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't know how to walk away. A lot of people already have. A lot of people are already in different environments, you know, and that was some of the most challenging things. So a lot of us are in that transitioning period, or already there, or we are the guiding light for some. So, hey, and you have to do the things. This is what people fear the most, is that you have to do the things that other people aren't willing to do. That's the people that create change. You think a caterpillar one day just decided, you know, oh man, I'm just gonna decide not to become a butterfly. I would believe that it is every caterpillar's right to become a butterfly. That's like a part of freeing itself. So I'm gonna leave you with that. You know, peace and blessings to all. Take care of yourself. Shalom.